Lieutenant Commander Balls on the jam line for the Heartless Heathers. Up against Bad Wolf for the High Rollers in green. Heartless Heathers in blue. We had the dance minute in honor of Serious Mischief from Rat City. And Lieutenant Commander Balls with a lively worm in the dance minute. Jammers are trying to get through, and Bad Wolf is first through to get lead jammer. Not far behind, though, is Commander Balls trying to come through and force a quick call off on this. And it works. Quick call off, but they're saying 1 point for the High Rollers. So a quick 1 point for the High Rollers. And that will bring us to jam number 2. Ruby Blitz, the transfer out of Cherry City in Salem. Now a high roller with Rose City. Up against Tegan and Scaria, jamming for the Heartless Heathers. Jam 2 is live. Tegan and Scaria doing some toe stop work to try and get through the High Rollers wall. Looking pretty strong right now. First penalty of the game to Adrenaline Crush of the High Rollers. And now there is a no pack call, and the Heathers will have to recycle forward to contain Ruby. Bellstar, Toxic Haste doing the honors, the forward-facing blockers there, with Ruby Blitz dug in with Dez bracing. Tegan and Scaria not having much luck either, getting through the High Rollers wall. We got Rogue One up there with Rolls as the forward-facing blockers. Oh, and just about to get out, and now a forearm call against the Heartless Heathers, a power jam, and it looks like an insubordination call as well for not going 90 degrees off the track from the position where the penalty was given. So this is going to be a 1 minute power jam for the High Rollers and Ruby Blitz, but Ruby Blitz still not able to get through. Now she has 4 offense to work in her favor and is still recycled out of bounds by Adrenaline Crush. Dez coming in behind. Rolls gets knocked down by Bellstar. Bellstar and Dez making a 2-wall up front. Now rejoining with Toxic Haste. And Blitz still unable to get through this Heartless Heather wall that is killing this long penalty for Tegan and Scaria. Only 20 seconds left in the jam. Phenomenal defensive work by the Heathers here to kill off this power jam. Tegan and Scaria now back on the track and gets through as the High Rollers didn't see it coming, and the jam ends. No lead, no score there in that jam. Phenomenal defensive work by the Heathers to kill off a 1 minute power jam. And now we have Headache jamming for the Heartless Heathers against Nuga Knockout, the newest high roller, also a transfer from Cherry City in Salem, was on the same team in Salem as Ruby Blitz, so teammates once again. Toxic Haste digging in against Nuga, and she's got help from Sui Generis. Lead jammer to Headache. Toxic Haste still doing work on Nuga, but we have a successful star pass, and Headache grabs 4 quick points. Shaolin Spocker was the pivot, now taking the star for the High Rollers, and we're gonna try and, I think they're gonna elect to try and run this one. So Headache's gonna keep continuing to get points, not worried so much about Spocker, as Spocker gets recycled all the way back to the jam line. And 5 points going to the Heartless Heathers. Spocker finally gets through on the first scoring pass, collecting 4 as Headache comes through and gets the orders from Coach Tara to call it off. And that is a big jam for the Heathers. 13 points in total, 4 points for the High Rollers. We want to thank Tonkin.com for sponsoring our jammer line. The largest selection of new and used autos in the Pacific Northwest is only a click away at Tonkin.com. And on that Tonkin.com jammer line, we have Mia Palau for the Heartless Heathers up against Lady Lux for the High Rollers. Mia Palau, who will be playing for Team Spain next week in the Roller Derby World Cup in Manchester, United Kingdom. High Rollers getting lead jammer here. Lady Lux coming around. Mia Palau finally getting through the pack on her initial. Des tried to make a solo effort, did not work. Lady Lux gets a back block penalty, so this will be a 2-minute jam as Lady Lux was lead jammer. So now Mia, the only jammer on the track right now, and is collecting points. Heather's going to go into offensive mode here and allows Mia to get through almost untouched. Gets through for 5 points as Lady Lux continues to sit. Belle Star recycling 2 blockers back in Minstrel Psycho and Rogue One, now getting their offense back together as the jammer back on the track. Mia Palau already at 15 points, looking for more. Lady Lux hitting that back of that Heather's wall. Is on a scoring pass now. Ooh, big hit on Belle Star there. And Lady Lux is gonna sit in the box again. So the Heather's on another power jam as Mia Palau continues, as she's already at 20 points and going to get more. And it is a directional penalty against Rogue One. 3 High Rollers in the penalty box, only 1 Heartless Heather, and one of them, of course, being the jammer. So ghost points being collected every time Mia passes the first blocker, and that jam ends naturally. A big jam for the Heartless Heathers. 25-2. Nope, that's 30-2. Score is 42-7 right now in favor of the Heartless Heathers. OHSU Sports Medicine is proud to be the official medical care team of the Rose City Rollers. All right, Toxic Haste, Adrenaline Crush, and Belle Star going into work on Bad Wolf, jamming for the High Rollers. Lieutenant Commander Balls jamming for the Heartless Heathers. And right now, no jammer is finding any sort of ground to work on right now. Ball's looking for some room on the inside, but runs into Coupe de Gras and has to come back around behind. Lead jammer for Balls as Coupe de Gras is going to the box. Bad Wolf taking the star off of her helmet, looking for a possible pass, but gets recycled out of bounds by Dez. And now Dez and Adrenaline Crush going to form a 2-all in the back to try and contain Bad Wolf. Get some help now from Toxic Haste. Little offensive work there by Belle Star, trying to get Balls through on another scoring pass. Oh, the timing wasn't quite there as Balls fell. So now back to play a 4-wall as Belle Star takes over the brace. And now Adrenaline Crush going to take over the offensive duties. Nice switch there. Just enough was done there to break up the wall by Adrenaline Crush, allowing Balls to come through and score 5 big points. Bad Wolf finally getting through the pack on the initial pass. Balls looking for a point or two before calling it off, and decides to call off after getting no more points actually on that last one. So that is a 10-0 jam in favor of the Heartless Heathers. Bridgeport Brewing, check your Bridgeport beer cup. 3 lucky winners will drink Bridgeport on RCR tonight. Well, I guess none of you will be checking your Bridgeport cup because you're online and not here, but hey. Ruby Blitz jamming for the High Rollers up against Tegan and Scaria. Jamming for the High Rollers. Tegan and Scaria finds room on the outside and gets through to collect lead jammer status. Ruby Blitz finds room on the outside as well. The great offense by the High Rollers, getting both of them out. Tegan and Scaria looking for collecting points. Gets them all, and quick call off for 4 big points for the Heartless Heathers. Two-Town cider is damn fine cider made here in the Pacific Northwest. Up next, jamming for the Heartless Heathers is Headache against Nuga Knockout. Both teams electing a jam line start this time. Nuga finds room on the inside and is trying to get through Malicious Intentions, another Salem transfer. But has her hands full of Dez and Adrenaline Crush right now. Correction, that's Bell Star jamming, or bracing. Headache gets through for lead jammer. And Nuga still having a hard time with that defensive wall of the Heartless Heathers. Dez, Malicious Intentions, the forward-facing blockers on this one. Bellstar bridging the pack, keeping the pack together. Nuga still not having any luck in turn 1 with the Heartless Heathers wall. Finally gets through, a little bit of announcer karma there. Headache gets through on another scoring pass and decides to call it off before Nuga can claim any points. WSL Leadership Coaching, helping you be more awesome in your work, sport, and life. Because more awesome is always a good thing. All right, now we have Minstrel Psycho, Rolls, and Tiggs. Actually, that's Shaolin Spocker and Neck Punch McGillicuddy blocking for the High Rollers on this jam. Mia Palau looking for a way to get through the High Rollers wall and gets through, but gets lead jammer just before getting knocked out of bounds on the inside, and will have to go through again, but did claim lead jammer status. Bellstar with some offense there, and now Mia only has 2 to beat on the front. Now Neck Punch McGillicuddy rejoins the wall. So now it's a full 3 wall, and they knock her out on the inside. So both defenses doing great work here. Look at Bellstar with the shark bite right there on Lady Lux. Not letting, finally getting it through. But Bellstar eating some precious seconds, and Mia Palau deciding to call off the jam. That'll be a 0-0 jam. Score is 60-7 in favor of your Heartless Heathers right now. Voodoo Donut, the magic is in the hole. Proud sponsor of the Rose City Rollers and the Wheels of Justice. Coming into Jam 9 here, about 17 minutes rather. Oh, we have a quick official timeout. That is a taco timeout. Porque yes, porque no. Quick discussion between some of the officials about that last jam. They're going to take an extra couple of seconds to make sure that everyone is on the same page. Official timeout has concluded. We now return to your regularly scheduled Jam 9. It's Commander Balls, a U.S. Naval Reserve doctor, jamming for the Heartless Heathers against Bad Wolf, jamming for the High Rollers. Someone has lost a kneecap pad, the plastic cover. Quickly grabbed by the official, Inspector Spaceman, who came up here from Eugene recently. Bad Wolf is your lead jammer and calls it off before Balls can come around and score points. So 2 points for the High Rollers there. 2-0 jam. Killer Burger, 5 minutes to burgers, beer, and bottomless fries. Killer Burger, one of our new sponsors here at Rose City Rollers. Tegan and Scaria and Ruby Blitz on the jam line. And both defenses working side by side right here. It is just a mass of bodies right there, all in one group, which can be a little chaotic for the Jammers. Ruby Blitz, both Jammers recycle all the way back. Ruby Blitz working against Belle Star and Ziriosa. And that allows Tegan and Scaria to get lead Jammer for the Heartless Heathers. Ruby Blitz gets recycled again to the inside. Belle Star, Dez, and Habanero Romero forming that defensive wall, doing work. Tegan and Scaria getting 5 points already on her first pass. Doing some fancy footwork there, getting some offensive help from Ziriosa. Minstrel Psycho, Rogue One, doing the blocking honors on Tegan and Scaria right now. Heartless Heathers have a blocker in the box, so not afforded the luxury of offense right now. They're going to try and hold her with a 2-all, though, and then have Ziriosa come in and blow it up. Ruby Blitz being held by Belle Star. And Dez finally gets a little bit of offensive help and gets through, but not before Tegan and Scaria gets 5 more points for the Heartless Heathers. And now here comes Ruby Blitz to start scoring. And it's going to be a illegal re-entry call. Oh, both Jammers immediately in and immediately out. First Jammer swap of the game. Only 17 seconds left, though, in this jam. And Belle Star with the quick hip move there that she's so known very well for. Both Jammers were in the box again, though, and they both get released. So very short penalties for both Jammers. And this jam ends, and I think both Jammers are pretty pleased about that jam ending. 8:08. Food so good it straight broke the mouth. 2 locations on Burnside and Woodstock. Makes me hungry for Spam musubi every time. That was an 11-1 jam for Tegan and Scaria. Both Jammers getting 2 penalties in that last jam, but almost at the exact same time, so very little time spent in the penalty box for either one. Headache getting lead Jammer for the Heartless Heathers. You always hear lots of young cheers for Headache, as she is a coach for the juniors here at Rose City. Now Coupe de Gras, I'm sorry, that's Tiggs getting a penalty for the High Rollers, and it looks like Adrenaline Crush getting a penalty for the Heartless Heathers. So 3-on-3 out there for the blockers. And Headache trying to get through that wall, and it looks like Nuga has gotten through, jamming for the High Rollers on her initial pass. Headache getting as many points as she can before calling off. She gets 5, no points for the High Rollers. Tiggs standing in the penalty box, Adrenaline Crush sitting, so this will be another 3-on-3 start for both teams. No offense afforded. Jammers of record here are Mia Palau jamming for the Heartless Heathers, and it looks like Lady Lux jamming for the High Rollers. Lady Lux looking for room on the inside, and that wall closes up on her fairly quickly. Sui Generis getting in there to close the door on Lady Lux. Shaolin Spocker getting a penalty, but Mia Palau getting out for lead jammer, and no pass, no penalty for Lady Lux, as Dez was knocked out of bounds and getting a penalty. Coach Tara asking for a call off and getting it from Mia Palau, but not before 2 points are scored by Lady Lux. 4 points scored for the Heartless Heathers. 80-12 is your score. Rainier Beer penalty box is a little bit full at this moment. 2 High Rollers in the box, 1 Heartless Heather. Both pivots, ironically, in the box. Commander Balls jamming for the Heartless Heathers. Finding room on the inside and getting lead jammer. Bad Wolf gets through on the inside as well, as the offense created some problems there by the High Rollers and allows their jammer to spring free also, so this will be a race. Everyone's trying to protect their points. Commander Balls is going to try and get those ghost points from the box and gets one and calls it off just in time. Great call off to grab all the points from the box before calling off the jam. 4-0 jam for the Heartless Heathers. Black Cat Plumbing, your local neighborhood plumbing company and a proud sponsor of RCR and the Wheels of Justice since 2009. Habanero Romero, first time on the jam line for the Heartless Heathers, going up against Ruby Blitz. Habanero Romero finds room right down the middle, getting lead jammer Ruby Blitz, only with Bellstar to beat. Now gets joined by Toxic Haste and Adrenaline Crush, and that is a tough 3-wall to get through. Toxic Haste and Bellstar, oh, just finding room with a quick tap dance on the inside line in turn 2, and Ruby Blitz gets through. Habanero Romero picking up 4 points, and they are going to go ahead and call this one off before Ruby can score. Selwood Pet Supply, quality nutrition and supplies for your pet. Coming into Jam 15 here, just under 10 minutes left in the first half. Nuga Knockout jamming for the High Rollers against Headache for the Heartless Heathers. A bit of offense being played by Zeriosa at first there, but now back in that wall, doing work against Nuga Knockout. Here comes Headache coming around, the first one to collect some points here. She is lead jammer. Zeriosa getting a back block call right before the jam ended. 0-0 jam. PDX Pipeline, your online source for Portland's music, arts, and events happenings. That's PDX Pipeline. Five-second call here. Mia Palau doing a little defensive work there against Lady Lux. Then breaks 3 and finds room on the outside. Lead jammer for the Heartless Heathers. Lady Lux not having as much luck with the Heartless Heathers defense. Being anchored by the Blast Unicorn right now with Adrenaline Crush and Toxic Haste. Both jammers recycled on the outside. The difference being that Mia is out on a scoring pass, whereas Lady Lux is still stuck in on the initial, having not broken out of the wall yet. Blast Unicorn and Adrenaline Crush teaming up there to hold back Lady Lux. Now it's Zeriosa. Now they've dug in on a 4-wall on Lady Lux, and things are not looking good for Lady Lux, trying to get through that Heathers wall, but it's looking awfully formidable right now. Oh, but the High Rollers have recycled Mia out of bounds. And now it's going to be a power jam for the Heartless Heathers as Lady Lux has gone off on an illegal re-entry call, formerly known as cutting the track. Mia electing to call off the jam and have a power start. The first power start we'll see in this game for the Heartless Heathers, and a team timeout called by the High Rollers. I mentioned a couple more of our sponsors here. Shebop and Portland Mercury. So far the defenses have been doing rather well. The jammers have been a little bit frustrated, obviously a little bit less on the Heartless Heathers side. Their jammers have had a bit more luck. The defensive wall of the Heartless Heathers looking pretty stout, but the High Rollers have been doing rather well on defense also. 7 minutes left in the first half of this game. I want to thank you for tuning in. We have 3 skaters on the track tonight that will be going to World Cup. We have mentioned Mia Palau will be representing Spain. Tiggs from the High Rollers skating for Team Russia. And Bad Wolf will be coaching Team Russia next weekend in Manchester, UK. So good luck to all of our RCR skaters making the trip across the pond. And Jam 17 is live. Penalty on Bell Star, but Commander Balls gets through for lead jammer. Power jam for the Heathers. Commander Balls dividing that pack, looking for a little bit of offense. And now it comes in the form of Adrenaline Crush. But Andy Oakley is just dug in on Commander Balls and not letting anything through. Now they have to get back in their wall because Lady Lux is out of the box. Oh, Heartless Heathers falling all over the place. Dez and Adrenaline Crush left. Toxic Haste gets back around, but has to let go. And Lady Lux does get through. Commander Balls calls off the jam before Lady Lux can get any points. Great job by the High Rollers on that. That was a power start for the Heathers, only coming away with 4 points on that power start. So the defense clearly stepping up for the High Rollers. Garden Bar, another new sponsor. Grab a Garden Bar wrap at concessions and check your program for a $2 off coupon. Of course, you're not going to do that because you're not here. Tonight's game is sold out, so if you can still purchase season passes so you can be never left outside listening to me again. Tegan and Scaria, lead jammer for the Heartless Heathers. Bad Wolf with the cap off already, looking to try and get through. No pass here as the pivot's way behind. And they get out together, and Tegan and Scaria will call off immediately, not giving Bad Wolf a chance. Just over 5 minutes left in the first half. 102-12 is your score. I want to thank Blaze Streaming Media. The live broadcast of tonight's game is brought to you by Blaze Streaming Media. Doing a great job tonight. Jam 19 starts with Ruby Blitz jamming for the High Rollers. Up against Headache. Toxic Haste doing some offense work there in the back. Headache's only got 1 to beat, but cannot get through rolls, and now the High Rollers recycle around, and now she'll have to deal with a full 3 wall. Ruby Blitz looking for any kind of room. The pack is moving, which is usually beneficial for jammers. Both jammers getting out of the pack. Headache just in front of Ruby Blitz. So we'll see how they choose to play this one. Tara's asking for a call off from her jammer Headache and gets it. So that will be a 0-0 jam. Thanks again to Bridgeport Brewing, one of our beer sponsors here at Rose City. Adrenaline Crush, Bellstar, and Dez making up the defensive tripod as they still have a blocker in the box. Blocking against Nuga Knockout. Mia Palau looking for room on the inside and does get through. Now Rogue One and McGillicuddy will be doing some offensive work, trying to spring Nuga free, along with Coupe de Gras. Heathers get spread out, and Nuga gets through. And it's a power jam now as Mia Palau is going to go to the box. Nuga Knockout is the only jammer on the track. High Roller is trying to goat Shredder Cheese, but she's able to make it through and reform with her wall. Nuga's got to get through Bellstar and finally does. Almost took a ride on her back, but Nuga gets through for 5 points as Mia has less than 10 seconds left on her penalty. Just enough time for the High Rollers to play some quick offense and try and get Nuga a few more points. And she's already got her hips past a couple of blockers, So there will be more points as now Mia Palau back on track and run into McGillicuddy, Rogue One, and Mufasta. Oh, and Mia's able to tap dance. Oh, not close enough. Did some fancy footwork on the inside line, but something touched out of bounds, and Mia's back to the box again. Nuga Knockout's gonna have to finish this jam. 30 more seconds to go, and gets through. Another 5 big ones for the High Rollers. This is a great jam for them. Heartless Heathers going back to work on Nuga. Now the defense broken up as the High Rollers have everyone on offense as there's no jammer for them to defend. So it breaks up the Heathers wall, but Nuga still having a hard time getting through. And the jam ends naturally. 4 more points for the High Rollers and 3 more for the Heartless Heathers. So that's a 14-3 jam in favor of the High Rollers, and that bolsters their score to 26-105 for the Heartless Heathers. On that Tonkin.com jammer line, the largest selection of new and used autos in the Pacific Northwest is only a click away at Tonkin.com. And that is Commander Balls and Lady Lux on the jam line. Quick penalty for malicious intentions. And Sui Generis also getting a penalty for the Heartless Heathers. So just like that, High Rollers getting no points on that jam, but 2 Heartless Heathers stuck in the box. Commander Balls calls it off in time, but they will be on a skeleton crew starting this next jam. Only Toxic Haste and Adrenaline Crush on the track for the Heathers. They have Tegan and Scaria jamming, and Bad Wolf will be jamming for the High Rollers. Might see a little bit of defensive work on behalf of Tegan and Scaria. Tegan and Scaria, oh, it was so close. Both jammers getting out at the exact same time, but the High Rollers getting lead jammer. Bad Wolf got out just a millisecond before Tegan and Scaria, and it's a forced call-off, 0-0 jam. It still freezes both blockers in the box for the Heartless Heathers, and that is how the first half will end. 106-26 in favor of the Heartless Heathers. All right, we are just about 40 seconds away from the resumption of the game. Half number 2 coming at you. Score 106-26 in favor of the Heartless Heathers. Looks like all the officials are in place. Now this is going to start with 2 Heartless Heathers in the penalty box. So big advantage to the High Rollers as we start half number 2 with Dez and Bell Star, the only blockers for Bad Wolf. Bad Wolf trying to get through the 2 of them. And Bad Wolf does eventually get through. Commander Balls looking for room on the inside and gets it. Some quick offense from Dez and Bell Star. Gets their jammer free. Now both Heartless Heathers out of the penalty box and back on the track. Dez and Bell Star is accepting the defense, is holding the pack to them, and that will protect their points. 3 points for the High Rollers, none for the Heartless Heathers on that jam. I want to thank Deb Counts Tabor. Let Deb guide you home. Proud realtor sponsor of the Rose City Rollers. Welcome to PDX.com. Up next on the jam line. Now it's 2 High Rollers in the box to start this. And Tegan and Scaria, as a result, gets through very quickly as lead jammer. Only Rolls and Rogue One out on the track in defense for the High Rollers. Tegan and Scaria trying to muscle her way through, but a forearm call against Tegan and Scaria. And it's going to be a power jam for Lady Lux. So now this is going to be a full 2-minute jam, as Tegan Inscaria was lead jammer before getting the penalty. Now Lady Lux getting all of her teammates back on the track in the form of Shaolin Spocker and Mayday. Lady Lux trying to get through 2 Heathers. Gets a little offense from Shaolin Spocker and is through for 5 points. And Toxic Haste gets a penalty, but Tegan Inscaria is about ready to take the track. Comes back on, and Lady Lux gets 5 more points. And the second half has so far been all high rollers. Lady Lux falls, she hits the back of the pack. Now back on her feet, trying to get through, gets her hips past a couple of Heartless Heather blockers. Still 40 seconds left though, so this is going to be a long one for everyone on the track. Tegan Inscaria losing her footing. And that wall is dug in right now in between turns 3 and 4. Rolls is bracing. Now Shaolin Spocker bracing as they continue to do some flip work. And help from Mayday there. Rogue One is holding the pack, and now they recycle out of bounds. And Tegan Inscaria gets through rather quickly, taking advantage of the high rollers wall being separated. And the jam ends naturally with 4 more points for the high rollers, none for the Heartless Heathers on that pass. Totals for that jam are 14 for the high rollers and 4 for the Heartless Heathers, as the high rollers have started to close up the gap in the score here. Big thank you to Echo Construction. The friendly people at Echo Construction love custom home building, remodels, and roller derby. Headache jamming for the Heartless Heathers, trying to get through. Get some help from Toxic Haste on offense against Coup de Gras, and that is enough to get Headache out and lead jammer status. Toxic Haste doing some great work there. Nuga Knockout still trying to get through the Heartless Heather wall. Now it's Toxic Haste again with Belle Star doing work against Nuga Knockout. Now getting some help from, it looks like, Dez. Now it's Belle Star as the last line of defense and just gets her out. Asks for the cut call and gets it. And it's a power jam for the Heartless Heathers. 1 blocker aside in the penalty box. And Headache is going through, collecting 5 points a pass here. Oh, and Headache gets spun around backwards and gets through again as bodies all over the floor. It's a drowning pool kind of night. And Headache is through for 5 more. As now everyone in the penalty box is standing, including Nuga Knockout, the jammer for the high rollers. Headache looking for more points here. Nuga back doing work on the Heartless Heathers wall. It is a 4 wall now. And the call off happens. Total points on that jam, 14-3 in favor of the Heartless Heathers. Big thanks to Oaks Amusement Park, home of the Rose City Rollers, and the place to purchase your derby gear. Bad Wolf jamming for the high rollers, up against, it looks like, Mia Palau of Spain. That high roller wall doing some work there. Mayday, Rolls, and Rogue One getting some help from Tiggs, completing the 4 wall, not giving Mia any room whatsoever. Now the Heathers are stretched out almost to the very end, and Bad Wolf only has 1 to beat, but it's Dez. Dez giving her trouble, finally gets through. As there's been a distinct momentum shift here in the second half. High rollers have been doing rather well. Bad Wolf is just glued on to Belle Star right now. Sui Generis is able to get Bad Wolf knocked out and will recycle back. Now trying to reform with Ziriosa and Belstar. Oh, and Rogue One, that's going to be a charging call against Belstar, who is hitting a down skater, also known as charging. And so that jam ends with 5 more points for the High Rollers, nothing for the Heartless Heathers. And the High Rollers continue their march. Buffalo Gap Saloon and Eatery, John's Landing favorite eatery and saloon. Ruby Bits jamming for the High Rollers. And it looks like Habanero Romero jamming for the Heartless Heathers, only your second jam in. And Heartless Heathers doing some defensive work on Ruby Blitz. And the illegal re-entry call on Habanero Romero. It is a power jam. No lead jammer has been established yet. Ruby Blitz, the only jammer on the track, but gets run out by Belstar. I'm sorry, that was Adrenaline Crush. Oh, and the Heathers powerless jam right now, but their defense is holding against Ruby Blitz. Offense coming from everywhere, but the Heathers are able to contain. Adrenaline Crush out there with China Doll Assassin. And Shredder Cheese forming a wall now, and now Habanero Romero back on the track. And that is the second time the Heartless Heathers have stymied the power jam of the High Rollers, not allowing the jammer to even exit the pack on an initial during a power jam. Now, Ruby Blitz has lost contact with the cap, but it was covered by Shredder, and there will be a penalty assessed for that. And now Blitz is through. Five more points, 25 seconds left in this jam. And Ruby Blitz looking to collect some more points. Lots and lots of Heartless Heathers in the box right now, a jammer and 2 blockers, so Ruby just needs to pass one to get that ghost point, all those ghost points. Now some offense from Coupe de Gras for Ruby as Habanero Romero gets through the pack. On the initial pass, the jam ends with more points for the High Rollers. 10 in total. 124 still for the Heartless Heathers. It's been like that the last couple of jams. Thank you to Portland Vital Signs and Kay's Bar. All right, both teams dug in on the jam line right now. Commander Balls jamming for the Heathers against Lady Lux. 4-wall by the Heartless Heathers right now. Now Des drops back to play a little bit of offense, trying to get balls through, and she's only got one to get through, and she does. Finally gets through rolls. Lead jammer status for Commander Balls. Malicious Intentions trying to do a little bit of offense, preparing for the attack of Commander Balls. Belstar now bridging the pack with Malicious Intentions. 4-wall dug in for the High Rollers against Commander Balls. Then that allows Lady Lux to get through. And Balls will elect to call off the jam. 3 points for the Heartless Heathers there. 0 points for the High Rollers. Bridgeport Brewing. Thanks to them for one of our beer sponsors. We come into Jam 7 of the second half with 19 minutes left in the game, and Bad Wolf against Headache. Bad Wolf is working that front wall, gets through Toxic Haste and Belstar for lead jammer, and Headache does a fancy toe stop job on that outside line and is able to get out on the initial. Now Bad Wolf looking to do some damage. Gonna get a little bit of offense from Coupe de Gras. Bad Wolf collecting a point or two before getting recycled out of bounds and calling off the jam. Jam ref jersey is going to confer with the outside pack refs to make sure the point count is correct. And we have a team timeout called by the Heartless Heathers. I thank one of our new sponsors, Vacasa, and also Laurelhurst Theater and Pub. All right, as the team timeout ends, Tegan and Scaria coming up to the jam line against Nuga Knockout. Blocker advantage to the High Rollers, as Malicious Intentions still in the box for a couple more seconds. Nuga gets recycled to the outside, or the inside, and Bellstar draws the illegal re-entry call on Nuga Knockout. That quick, the quick suck back of the hips, it just confuses jammers all the time. And now a illegal re-entry call on Tegan and Scaria, so this will be a jammer swap. Nuga, oh, little slight collision there in the penalty box as Nuga Knockout was coming in, Bellstar was coming out. Both jammers back out on the track. And some quick offense here by the High Rollers, but here comes Tegan and Scaria. They are not able to get back together in time, and Tegan and Scaria is able to get out on the initial pass. Still blocker advantage to the High Rollers, and Tegan and Scaria gets through but hangs a wheel out. And it's going to be another penalty for Tegan and Scaria. Outside pack refs caught it and assessed the penalty properly. Nuga Knockout with some toe stop work on that outside, just trying to get through Toxic Haste and Dez. Oh, and Dez able to suck back very quickly. And now Nuga Knockout is going to go back to the box, as will be our second jammer swap of this jam. And now the jam ends naturally. So we're going to have to see how they do it. Both jammers ended in the penalty box. So there is some debate about what's going on in the penalty box. Tegan and Scaria normally would have been released immediately. And now there is an official timeout because Tegan and Scaria would have been released immediately, but that looks like it was her 7th penalty, and so she has fouled out of the game. So what's going to happen now is Mia Palau is standing in the penalty box. Nuga Knockout is sitting. Both teams of 4 blockers are standing at the jam line, but it looks like Mia will be released as soon as the jam starts. So this is an interesting one. No jammer on the track for the start of the jam. And Mia Palau is released, so now the High Rollers first to go into defensive work as Mia Palau skates through. Beautiful reforming by the High Rollers, and Mia Palau is able to tap dance through for lead jammer. Still waiting for Nuga Knockout, now rejoins the track. And the Heathers wall is waiting for her. Mia Palau not able to keep it in bounds and will have to recycle back Oh, and tap dances through the outside and gets through that time. That is 5 points as Mia is scoring. Nuga still looking for something on the initial. Gets a hip out to try and break up that Heartless Heathers defensive wall, but they've got her pinned up on that inside line, and now it looks like a successful star pass to Ruby Blitz. But Ruby is stuck in that Heathers wall now, and is going to get recycled back. Both jammers going all the way back past the jam line. Mia is lead, and so she is going to set up to attack the wall. Ruby now the jammer for the High Rollers, looking for some offense from Coup de Gras. Gets it, but Adrenaline Crush is able to hang on to Ruby. Now Shredder, braced by Toxic Haste, doing work on Ruby. Now Nuga is trying to get some offense working for Ruby. Now Mia Palau pushing against the 2-wall right now of Coup de Gras, and Mufasta finally is able to get through. Ruby Blitz still stuck on that Heather wall, and the jam ends with 9 points for the Heartless Heathers, none for the High Rollers. WSL Leadership Coaching, helping you be more awesome in your work, sport, and life. Penalty box is clear for once, and it's going to be Lady Lux and Headache. Lady Lux looking for some room on the inside, and that 4-wall of the Heathers is now dug in, braced by Ziriosa, getting help from Dez Sui Generis and Bellstar. Now stuck behind her own wall, Headache springs free and gets a illegal re-entry call, and now, so there is no lead jammer. Lady Lux still eligible if she can get through this Heartless Heather wall. Oh, but Bellstar says, I don't think so. And now all of the offense working for the High Rollers. Now only, well, that 3-wall reforms beautifully, but they're almost out of play. They have to let go, and Lady Lux gets lead jammer. Now the Heathers waiting for the offense. And they're able to keep the pack with them and reform their 4-wall as here comes Headache into the pack. Oh, and it's going to be a back block call against Headache. Another power jam for the High Rollers. And now Bellstar, the last line of defense. And now a forearm call against Bellstar. And Lady Lux will get through for 5 more points. Lady Lux getting some offense from Andy Oakley. And that gets her through. All right, Headache now back on the track, as now we have 2 blockers for the High Rollers in the box, so Headache only has 2 to get through. And does. Gets through Mayday and rolls. So now Headache finally through, and the High Rollers will call this off before any more damage can be done, but still have 2 blockers stuck in the box, and we have our first official review being called by Bashanista of the High Rollers. So we will have to see what the what is being contested here. The officials have a wireless mic, and they will discuss what's going on. But even before they talk to the coaches of both teams, they're already talking about something else. I'm wondering if it's that that back block call on Headache. We'll have to see what happens here. This could get interesting. The Heathers already down 1 jammer out of their rotation, Tegan and Scaria, for fouling out. Still just under 12 minutes in this game, a lot of game left. So the head referee, Kieran Duncan, chatting with both coaches right now. So we'll have to see. Okay, now Kieran skating to the Heartless Heathers bench and is going to talk to Headache. So I'm wondering if this is about that back block penalty and to see if this is an ejection. Hard to say. Helmet is off, star is off. This is looking like, yeah. I guess they're saying that that hit was dangerous. The back block hit was dangerous as she has left the building. So that was the first order of business. It looks like we're going to now get to the official review that Bash has called of the High Rollers. So this is getting interesting now. So now we are down 2 regular jammers out of the Heartless Heather rotation, with Tegan and Scaria's foul out and Headache's ejection. So they're going to have to get creative with their jammer rotation, and with a lot of time left in this game, the score is getting tighter. Okay, so what they're looking for, and they did, Kieran did confirm the egregious back block being the expulsion of Headache, and then they are looking. The High Rollers are looking for an extra penalty against the High Roller jammer. I'm sorry, the Heartless Heathers jammer for not exiting the track immediately. So they're looking for an insubordination call, which would put the Heartless Heathers jammer in the box for another 30 seconds, but the jammer was Headache, who is no longer in the game, so it would be another jammer that would have to take her place in the box. So the officials have conferred, and now Kieran is letting them know the outcome. We'll go back to the house call to hear what Kieran's official call is. All right, let's hear what the call is from Kieran Duncan.
Be assessed, and the High Rollers will not retain the review for the period.
All right.
Okay, so they the officials conferred and didn't see anything that would lead them to believe that there was a insubordination call that had to be made. So the High Rollers lose their official review. Back to action here as we have Bad Wolf getting recycled to the inside and Commander Balls getting lead jammer. And the Heathers are going to have to go into overdrive on their jamming rotation because they're down 2 now. Let's see what happens. Balls gets through the High Roller wall. And now they're going to try and help Bad Wolf get through, and she does. Bad Wolf through on the initial. Ball's looking for room on the outside, and oh, almost has it, but goes out of bounds and decides for the quick call off before Bad Wolf can collect any points. I want to thank Two Towns Cider, damn fine cider made here in the Pacific Northwest. All right. Ready for jam 12. Habanero Romero jamming for the Heathers. And now we have an official timeout. That is a taco timeout. Por qué no? Porque yes. All right, now back to action. And as we said before, Habanero Romero jamming for the Heathers up against Nuga Knockout for the High Rollers. Both defenses doing work right now. All 10 bodies jammed in there right together in close proximity. Hard for the jammers to get through an 8 wall, or a 9 wall rather, because they do have the other jammer to contend with also. But Nuga Knockout has gotten the lead jammer. Habanero Romero not far behind though. Looking for quick offense and points before calling off is Nuga Knockout. She does get the call off in 1 point. Voodoo Donut, the magic is in the hole. Proud sponsor of the Rose City Rollers and the Wheels of Justice. Let's also thank Red Bull and Protalis Insoles. Jam 13 is in motion. Mia Palau jamming for the Heartless Heathers. Bad Wolf for the High Rollers. Once again, both defenses doing great work here, not finding any room. Shaolin Spocker is able to hit Mia Palau, but not all the way out of bounds, and Mia is able to continue. As Bad Wolf gets recycled back by Dez, getting help from Bell Star and Malicious Intentions. Zeriosa playing a little bit of offense for Mia, trying to break up that high roller wall, which is holding together rather well right now. Now she has 2 to beat and gets knocked out of bounds. And they are out of play. Mia Palau gets lead jammer. Oh, and Bell Star trying to keep Coup de Gras out of bounds and allows a quick point for Mia. And Mia will call it off before any points can be scored by the High Rollers. 3 more points for the Heartless Heathers. Once again, thank you to Tonkin.com, sponsor of our Jammer line, the largest selection of new and used autos in the Pacific Northwest, only a click away at Tonkin.com. It's going to be Commander Balls and Ruby Blitz. We have to wonder with the shortened jammer rotation if the fatigue is going to start to set in on behalf of the Heathers jammers and how that will affect the score, as there's just under 8 minutes left in this game. Ruby Blitz all over Bell Star right now. Commander Balls getting through his lead jammer. Toxic Haste is trying to recycle back. And a clockwise block on Rogue One. And Commander Balls through for 5 more points. Adrenaline Crush getting a penalty. And Ruby Blitz just having to get through Dez and having a hard time doing it. Now getting some help from Toxic Haste. Oh, the 2 of them doing some good work. And they will not let Ruby Blitz go. Bell Star is holding the pack while they recycle Ruby back. Finally, Ruby Blitz gets free. And Commander Balls is going to probably call this one off before... Well, I can't be more wrong on that. So they're going to run this one. Commander Balls trying to get through. Oh, tap dancing on the inside, and it doesn't quite work out. And now a penalty being nope. There was some confusion there. She thought she had a penalty, but Nitty calls her back on the track, and the quick call off after 5 more points. And it's a 10-4 jam in favor of the Heartless Heathers. Deb counts Tabor. Let Deb guide you home. Proud realtor sponsor of the Rose City Rollers. Welcome to PDX.com. Just over 6 minutes left to play in the game, and Habanero Romero jamming for the Heartless Heathers up against Lady Lux. Only a 2-all to get through of Shaolin Spocker and Coupe de Gras, but she runs into her own skater. And that buys a lot of time for the High Rollers to get their blockers out of the box, as Habanero Romero still has not gotten through that 2-wall. That's done a great job. Now gets through. Lead jammer for Habanero Romero. Illegal re-entry call on neck punch McGillicuddy. The penalty formerly known as cutting the track. Habanero Romero calls that one off. 2-0 in favor of the Heartless Heathers. OHSU Sports Medicine is proud to be the official medical care team of the Rose City Rollers. Just under 5 minutes left, and the score is tightening. Mia Palau jamming against Nuga Knockout. Mia looking for room on the inside and finds it, gets through with some beautiful footwork. And Nuga is still looking for room in that Heartless Heather wall. Sui Generous, Belle Star, and a failed apex jump for Mia Palau, and she will have to recycle back. Shaolin Spocker offering some offense for Nuga. But that Heather wall doing work. Zeriosa with Sui Generous and Belle Star. Now the offense comes through by Spocker against Belle Star and lets Nuga get through on the initial pass. Mia Palau did end up in the box, so it is a power jam for Nuga Knockout right now. And now Nuga Knockout will get a penalty for forearm, and so this will be a jammer swap. Mia Palau back on the track for the Heartless Heathers. Belle Star called off for a penalty, but Mia is getting some offense from Zeriosa right now. And now here comes Sui Generous and Dez. Now Dez passionately calling back her teammates as the jammer should be back on the track momentarily. Here comes Nuga. Dez doing a great job of communicating out there. Mia Palau gets through for 5 more points. Zeriosa, the last line of defense against Nuga, and does recycle her out. Comes back in wisely in front of players she did not need to recycle behind. Oh, and they just miss as Nuga gets through for 4 points. 10 seconds left in this jam. Nuga hits the back of that wall and is recycled out of bounds by Belle Star. The jam ends. And it looks like 9-4, the final points in that jam. Big thank you to Trailhead Credit Union and Bike Punk. All right, here we come into jam 17. Precious few seconds ticking away in this game, and the High Rollers still have a little bit of a deficit to make up. Bad Wolf, oh, and Commander Balls gets through his lead jammer. Bad Wolf was stuck there on Toxic Haste, finally gets through. So this could be a quick one. Commander Balls coming through backwards, which gets the hips in front of a couple of blockers. So a couple of quick points for Balls. She'll get 3. No points for the Heartless Heathers. Thanks to Betsy and Aya Jewelry and Franz Bakery. Three to nothing jam there in favor of the Heartless Heathers. Lady Lux jamming for the High Rollers against Habanero Romero. Coupe de Gras taking Habanero out on the inside, but gets right back in, does it again. And now this time it's Spocker that runs Habanero Romero back. Lady Lux gets through for lead jammer. Great defensive work by the High Rollers on this jam so far. And they have stymied Habanero Romero, as Lady Lux is now on a scoring pass and looking to collect points. Trying to get those hips through the blockers' hips to collect as many as possible to pad their lead. Lady Lux getting through. Now here comes the offense work by the Heathers, and that gets Habanero Romero through. So we'll see how the High Rollers choose to run this. It looks like they're running it and call it off. Well, the High Rollers are sponsored by Left Turn Clothing, where fashion meets function. A timeout was called by the High Rollers with 23 seconds left, allowing one more jam. So on this High Rollers timeout, let's mention a couple of their sponsors. Laurelhurst Theater and Pub, the best of modern cinema, independent art and classic film for Portland's movie lovers. Also Red Fox Vintage. Find your retro at the Fox. And Upswept Creative, sponsor of the High Rollers. We build your strong, smart, beautiful business brand. And the Heartless Heathers also sponsored by K-Fit. K-Fit Studio, kick-ass fitness for women, by women. All right. 8-2 the score on that last jam in favor of the High Rollers. Just not going to be enough, as the Heathers will get their first win of the season. Commander Balls working against that three wall of the High Rollers. Gets busted up now by Toxic Haste, allowing Balls to get lead jammer. And Voodoo Jinx going to the penalty box. Oh, and Balls gets thrown to the floor by that High Roller wall. Now she's dug in, Balls deep in the High Roller wall, gets out and through for more points. Bad Wolf still looking to get through, possibly past the star. Balls only has 2 to get through, but it's still Rogue One giving her trouble right now, getting some help from Rolls. Rogue One getting a penalty, but Bad Wolf is out of the box. The period clock has expired. 55 seconds left in this game. No lead jammer as Commander Balls is parked in the penalty box. So this jam will go another 43 seconds. Both teams on their feet for this last jam. 5-0 so far in this jam in favor of the Heathers. Commander Balls back on the track. Now gonna have to deal with that High Roller wall. And they reform all around, not letting her through. Oh, and Bad Wolf gets hit backwards. It looks like a forearm penalty assessed to Adrenaline Crush, but Balls gets through again as the called off, gets all 5 points for a 10-5 jam, and that will do it for this game. Final score, 182 to 98. Score should go final shortly as the Heartless Heathers looking pretty tough tonight, but the High Rollers have nothing to be upset about. Their defense was quite good, and the second half was definitely their half. Score is now final. Stand by for your MVPs.
All right. Let's get started with the MVPs. Face that way. So, let's start with MVP blocker. Who do you got?
Rosemary's Baby.
Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, and we have some antics there in the
And who do you have
center.
for MVP jammer?
Nuga!
Nuga Knockout getting MVP jammer on her first ever game as a high roller.
For MVP blocker, we would like to give this to Dez.
MVP Dez for blocker. And Bad Wolf, who do you have for MVP jammer?
Mia.
Mia. All right, folks, those are your MVPs.
All right, that is going to do it for us tonight here at the hangar at Oaks Park. Thank you for tuning in to the Rose City Rollers live broadcast of the Heartless Heathers and the High Rollers. Once again, your Heartless Heathers taking the win, 182-98. We'll hope to see you tomorrow for the junior game. Until then, Hamtramck out.